Yeah. Dumb guys. Do racing. Podcast, baby. Click on, lights up, lobby in the queue. Four friends talk trash like the pit's on view. Sean set the tone, got the room on lock. Jimbo, crack jokes, crowd pop at the shock. Coach Mike break it down, lap time in his notes. Todd Wild on the line, late break, big smoke. From Gran Turismo nights in a shakedown run to that sim rig life where the dumb guys run. Dumb guys do racing. We just slide and laugh from the couch to the track. We ain't holding back. Dumb guys do racing. Yeah. Hit the gas, hear the stories crash. It's the crew, it's the cash. You gon' run that back.
Woo, baby! Welcome back to another brand new episode of the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast. And I'm here with the boys, Jimbo, Coach Mike, and Todd. And Toby One is with us again. Woo!
Yo, yo, yo.
Woo!
I made it. I was
Made
there
it.
Monday.
And
Oh, boy.
and I'm not going to forget this time, we got a special guest. I'm not going to go brain dead for a moment. We
Oh,
got a
my
special
gosh,
guest.
yes.
There we go. We got it out of the
Oh,
way.
boy.
We do have a special guest. HverCraft, commentator for NRL, has joined us.
Yeah, part of
Hey,
S7R. Welcome back.
Yeah, we've got, S7R HverCraft. We got Hover joined us for manufacturer's practice lobby.
Nice.
I did.
He and I had a good little battle. That was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
It was.
That was a
on.
lot of fun. Man, I can't believe I missed that. I missed that corner and got dirty tires. Because that was a ton of fun.
It
Hovercraft
was.
was fun. Hovercraft is fast.
Yeah. Well, he's an S7R driver, so yeah.
That's right.
Well, yeah,
Quick.
when he's giving strategy and talking about strategy, he knows what he's talking about. He's not just he's just not a commentator. He's not your commentator, that's for sure. He's much more than a commentator. He's an exceptional tater. That's what he is.
Yeah,
That's what
and considering Wid and a lot of other fast guys are on my team, that's kind of the bare minimum you need to be able to compete with them.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some fast drivers
Yeah,
on
you
your
do.
team.
Oh man, I don't know what everybody's drinking this morning. It's
Coffee. I got agua.
early Monday morning, but man, I just
Halfway
used
through
the
a pot.
last of-
Oh,
Just
God
used
damn.
the last of my lavender mint tea, and I
Ooh.
forget
Ooh,
how good
fancy.
it is. Fancy. It was fucking $18 for this tiny little box
Holy
of tea.
shit, that's super fancy.
Yeah, so I've used it sparingly, and now it's the last.
Like, God damn, it's gone. I gotta go buy more.
That's
Go buy
good, though.
more.
That's really good. So, let's do sort of a review of the NRL season and get everybody's opinion on how they felt the season in general was, and then we can get into what happened in the finals. So how in general, anybody jump in?
Yeah.
Did you feel the season
Sean.
was the combos, the racing between divisions? Since you were in it, yeah, I guess that's a good
there
good
you go.
place to start. Since you were in it, Sean,
Mm-hmm.
how did you feel about Friday's combos and the racing in general?
I felt lucky with the combos. Actually, there's a few combos I was scared of, but actually, after doing practice and doing all that and getting used to it, it all worked out pretty damn good. And the racing was phenomenal. Phenomenal. There's B division. I'm hoping for another division next year because, these guys, in both divisions, but they're just so good. You don't have to. I didn't worry. I didn't really have any incidences at all, and just super clean driving. And then all the teams that are a part of this league are very high end. They take it very seriously. They put their practice in, and it was just overall a great season, great rookie season, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that I noticed with our team. The core of our team was able to get together, and when I say core, I mean the 4 originals, and really when it comes down to it, the 3 originals, because Todd couldn't always join. I mean, we put, because he's old, he has to get to bed early, because he does wake up at like 4 in the morning. You know how old people are.
6.
The sun's going down. I gotta go.
Oh, the chickens have tucked their heads under their wings. It's time to sleep. For our team, I know that it brought at least the old school guys, the 3 or 4 of us, into a new level of racing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever put in that much practice. I mean, I've raced laps and I've done dailies and stuff like that, but intense practicing, figuring out strategies, trying all the strategies, doing bonkers things just to make sure that we didn't miss anything. Now, do you find HverCraft? I'm going to ask this of you. Do you find that same thing happening in S7R?
Oh, absolutely. We, any league that we participate in, not just NRL, we typically like to just come together as a team, right? Whoever is coming in to compete, even some non-competitors even join us, right? Team members that are doing other leagues, sometimes they just like to drive with us, and we usually like to kind of spread out kind of our practices in a way, and what I mean by that is, let's say, 3-4 people get in to do a full practice run. What we may do, especially with NRL races where strategies are kind of up in the air, we kind of assigned everybody one strategy, right? So let's say Wid takes the softs at the start, Truth takes the mediums, Higher takes the hards, and we try different strategy combinations to kind of compare and contrast. It's like, okay, we see kind of an increase in lap times here, but it starts to fall away around here, then this strategy comes into play. So, and I think that's just one of the main kind of components of being on a team, and kind of one of the advantages is that instead of having to test a race 3 times by yourself to get all the possible strategies in the books, you only have to do one practice strategy or one practice run if you have 2 other teammates doing the opposite strategies.
Right.
Yep. That's like what we did.
Right.
Exactly what we did.
Yeah, almost everybody was on different tires. I wish we had been able to work with we won't give away what happened, but I wish we were able to work a little bit more with Sean this last week, but he was working late.
Yeah, work was crazy.
Yeah, it was the worst time. It was the worst time to have your work blow up and get warm in Oregon.
Yes.
It was the worst time.
Yes, sir. It was.
Sean, what was your favorite combo?
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite combo? I would say probably the NSX at Trail Mountain.
Ooh, that was a great
That was my
combo.
favorite too
That was
for all the
probably my
practices.
favorite.
Yeah.
That was
It's funny.
good car.
I'm going
That
to
was the
say
first time driving that car.
Same. And it was
far.
amazing. First time for a lot of these cars for me. And that's another thing I liked about it is you didn't know the combo until the race finished, the round finished, and then you found out the next combo for the next round. I really like that. And I loved, you just didn't know. It was just so switched up every time. And the surprising factor of it all just made it more interesting. And yeah, just a lot of fun.
I would say my favorite combo in practice was the Honda S2000 at Nordwan.
Yeah, that was
That was fun.
Dude,
That was fun.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Getting
it was.
used to that car was a monster to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great combo. How many of the combos did you practice or race on, Hover?
At least I'd say I put in a few laps for every one of the races that I covered. Obviously not every single race. I put in time to practice and try out, but the ones that I was, brought on to commentate over, I most certainly did at least run a few laps. I may not have known the exact strategy, right? I did have to rely on my teammates and possibly whoever else, but at least I did get to know kind of how the track worked, how the car worked, and kind of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I know it's sort of hard. Did you get any practices in with teammates to give you a little bit more insight, or was it just touching on those ones too?
Yeah, I did quite a lot of whatchamacallit practice with some of our teammates. It really just kind of depended, because sometimes I would be really I wouldn't be available during the times when everyone else was practicing. So with that, there wasn't much I can do, so I would have to just kind of do it on my lonesome. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of the times that my teammates were practicing, I would hop on, do maybe a couple laps. I typically didn't do a full run, but like I said, as long as I kind of understood how the car worked and just kind of got extra information as to how long these laps or how long these tires were going to last, as well as the fuel, that was a pretty good baseline of at least me knowing what I should talk about once the broadcast actually comes around.
Yeah,
which is smart.
Which is which is very smart. You got to, if you're going to be a color commentator, it's good to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, understand the car, its
characteristics,
and
Yep, exactly. What surprised you about the league, Sean, if anything?
Trying to think. Watching it, the last couple seasons and the podcast being a part of it and just kind of keeping an eye on things, I don't think there was really any surprises.
Wasn't a surprise in the competition level?
I mean, I knew it was going to be high. I knew it was going to be super high. And going into the season on that first round, that's what I was worried about the most, was shitting the bed and just doing horrible and getting my ass kicked. That was my biggest concern. I didn't want, come in and shit the bed and, these PDX guys suck and cause crash into people and do all that. Okay, probably one surprise, how clean everyone is.
Yeah.
How respectful everyone
damage.
is. Yes, having the heavy damage really helps with that,
It does.
keeping everyone aware. And I even think if there was light damage in this league, which I'm glad there isn't, but I even think with that, I think with all the teams that are involved with this league, PHGs, the VIPs, the S7Rs, all these guys, the Moose Mafia Racing, these are all high-level, respectable guys that, they're going to race hard, but they're also, not going to do anything stupid, and not having to worry about that kind of stuff was just amazing. So I would say that was the biggest one then, just how actual clean it was, just with everything.
It seems like people put their hands up when they make a mistake.
Yeah,
or they think
and that too. And
too.
Corridor is amazing. In the round 4, Trial Mountain, or was that round 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the NSX, we had that incident going to the last chicane. I wasn't going to put a ticket in. I looked at it. Corridor came in my stream, apologized immediately. Sorry about that. I told him I wasn't going to put a ticket in. He said he was going to look at it, and if he thought of anything, he was going to put it, and he put a ticket in. I was like, God, good on you, buddy. But
and Sean looked at it and thought, well, that's a racing incident.
Yeah,
that's
I didn't. I still finished third. I was going to the finals. Didn't really make a difference. I was just like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. It was a race. I figure a racing incident because I did miss my braking point. Trying not to hit scale and all that stuff. So, but yeah, when people make mistakes, they own up to it, and that's That's a fresh breath of air right there, because not a lot of people do that.
This is not against you, Sean, but I was surprised how well you did.
Oh,
And
thank
it's
you.
nothing against you at all.
me too.
It's nothing against you at all.
Dude, I was super
I
surprised.
I was
Dude,
surprised at
honestly,
how well
I
you
was
did.
going to be happy to make top 5. That's what my goal was, just to be in the top 5, you know. And after that first race, I had a lot of confidence. And then with you guys helping me, and then, you know, race day comes, I got Jim and Todd in my ear. You know, Coach Mike's watching the stream. I got all these eyes watching and helping me. Because, yeah, in VR, we don't get a lot of info. So I had the help and just helping, keeping me calm, keeping my head in the game. I mean, it was a team effort. I feel like it was a full team effort is why I got the result I got. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
So even though we're a team that doesn't practice, that's a running joke. That's a running joke for PDX because we fired a guy from the team, and one of the things he said was like, "You guys never practice for anything."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which has never been the truth about us. We bust our asses, especially if we think it's important. I mean, this week, because Sean couldn't race with the rest of us, we were all practicing manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why you were able to hop in with us and play with us, because we weren't. And we do closed lobbies when we're doing NRL practice because we're trying to keep our strategy as secret as possible.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like, especially kind of in the modern landscape of GT7 racing, specifically league racing, you really can't get good results if you don't put any practice in. It's just,
absolutely.
I think it's part of it is like, you know, the people who are doing league racing are typically the ones that have been doing it for so long already, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they already are experienced with kind of the attitude / the mentality that you have to approach into league racing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're already going to be putting in hours and hours and hours of practice. And I think, at least with me, because last year I took a hiatus in terms of racing, right? I mostly just kind of went into the commentator's booth and the stewarding teams as well. And part of the reason why I did that was because I was just really burnt out from having to practice over and over and over and over again, right? So it just kind of came to the point where it's like, well, I live a normal life, right? Sim racing isn't paying the bills, so I come home from racing or from work already kind of, not super tired necessarily, but already demotivated.
Oh yeah.
Now I have to look into the fact that the next league race I'm doing, I have to there's like 3 other wins, right? So now I'm gonna have to practice 2-3 hours every night to even stand a chance because that's what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of I got really burnt out from that. So no, it's like I feel like I mean. There's just you cannot get good results in NRL and IRO and PHG by just showing up and trying in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to wing it exactly.
Yeah,
but that kind of leads to you mentioned in the broadcast yesterday you wanted to possibly dip your toes into the next NRL season as a driver.
Yep.
Hell
excellent.
Yeah.
So would you still be a commentator? Obviously give up stewarding, I would think, since people that don't know HverCraft is a commentator and he is also one of the lead stewards for NRL. So he is heavily involved in this league.
Yeah, I've been on the stewarding team for I think the last 3 seasons of NRL. Commentator for the last 2. For the stewarding side, I wouldn't be able to continue doing that if I was an actual driver. Conflict of interest. That's just how McNaughty runs it. Commentator side, I think it's going to be really dependent on Mostly, one, I don't know the rules on the commentator side. I don't know if McNally allows it to begin with. But two, how I'm looking at it is I don't even know what day I would be doing it, first of all, if on the Friday or Saturday. And two, I don't know if the other day that I would be able to commentate on, I don't know if I'm even going to have the free time to be able to do it, right?
Okay.
Right.
So I guess technically from the outside it's not necessarily impossible, but at the same time I can't predict what's going to be happening come September/October when the next season should be starting, and just what my schedule kind of lines up with.
Got it. So then there's a chance of possibly losing two commentators.
Yeah.
Flawed said he is going to be stepping away.
Yep.
For a while, so sad to hear that. Big fan of Flawed and
Yeah, huge fan
energy.
of Vlad. That
the energy
really
and fun he brings.
Yes.
To the commentary booth. So, but maybe again, JK steps up a little bit more, is able to, more doors open up for maybe some other people. But yeah.
I would like to see. I'd like to hear JK doing more commentary. Man, after last week's show, I love that dude.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome.
He is.
JK is
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, and he thought we were joking about coming on the show again and just, barging through the door. And I'm like, no, dude, we are serious.
Oh, yeah.
If you have free time and you know that it's, 6 o'clock in the UK and we're recording and you have the chance, just come in. Don't worry about it.
Well, from one VR elitist to another, JK. It's always open.
Yeah.
No, JK is an amazing guy. What's funny is that how I met him, I didn't first meet him when he came on to do commentary. MMR holds a small RBJ series, so my first time coming across him was we were both competing in that series. And if I
Wrong button.
Well,
Keep
I'm
going.
having
Keep
some
going. I'll
technical
cut it out. Well, actually, I
we're
probably
having
won't.
technical difficulties.
Wrong button.
Come on, Grandpa.
but
It's too far for my arms.
that RBJ series was the first time I came across him, and if I remember correctly, I'm saying this just to piss off JK because I know he's going to listen to him. I absolutely smoked him in that first race, and I think I'm just the better driver in that series. But no, we've been competing in that series, and
That was fucking too funny.
he's an amazing guy, both on track and the commentary. So when McNally told us, there's this guy on the PhD side that I kind of want to pick up and give him a test run. He said JK, and I was like, weird. I heard that. I've seen that name before. Where have I seen him? And then
in your rearview mirror?
yeah, well, no, because he's not in the rear view because he was never fast enough to keep up, right? He was always 3-4 corners behind.
Girl is throwing shade.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh man.
No,
that's
but
amazing.
he's a fantastic driver. He really, when he comes on and we get the chance to commentate, he does generally know what he's doing. He's very much been around the block when it comes to racing, and we tried to get him in for, I don't know if you guys watched the IRO broadcast, specifically the Sprint Series broadcast.
Yeah.
I actually recommended to Stig, the league owner, to pick him up to be a color commentator with me. Unfortunately, he had an emergency on the last round, but we're hoping that he comes on again for the next round this month. I think it's in a few weeks. So yeah, hopefully he can be a color commentator on my side for the opening stint.
Yeah. Where's that next race? Monza for IRO?
Yes, Monza.
Ooh.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
I know that's another
should
one we need to get into. Figure out how
Absolutely.
to do that.
There's that, and then there's that SVR. That's an all VR race.
Oh
league.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that Roland posted.
Yep.
Yeah. They're
Really.
looking for 2 or 3 VR drivers.
Being VR elitists, everybody says you can't be competitive in VR.
Yep.
Well,
we proved
I think
you can.
especially in the B lobby. I think you can see that VR does work. I think you got to do a little bit more. I think you have to have a lot more support. Like, Coach Mike is looking at other YouTube feeds and feeding information in. Todd and I, there for a while, I was helping PhD Bells, being his engineer and keeping him calm. Oh man,
well, it makes it more real that way too. Having someone in your
Bells
like that.
is a lot faster than he thinks he is.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He is so much faster than he thinks he is. At the rain race, at high speed ring.
Oh, dude, he was.
Yeah,
he was the fastest car. He was the fastest car on track.
He was hauling ass.
If he hadn't had that incident,
he would have won.
I think he would have won that race.
He would have won.
Yeah.
He maybe qualified then for the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would.
That'd
He
have been
would have.
25 points. Yeah.
He was so fast.
He was only 5 points off.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that, so maybe we can come back to that.
Okay.
Specifically the point system.
Ooh. All right.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
How did Todd? How did you feel? How did you feel the season was in general?
for NRL, I thought it was great. I just think I like how McNaughty just switches it up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Friday racers are doing something. Saturday racers are in different cars, and one night, somebody's doing what, the other's just maybe dirt track or whatever. It just keeps everybody on their toes, and what's next, what's around the corner per se. And he just kind of like we were saying earlier, cars we've never driven before. That '08 NSX, I thought I had it in my garage or whatever. Went to go practice. I'm like, wait, where the heck is this car? Oh, this is a completely different car that I didn't even know existed. And then I get in, I'm like, oh my god, this car's freaking amazing. And never has. So yeah, it just for the people that compete in it, a lot of people are kind of stuck on Group 3, Group 4 cars. This really expands their driving and opens their eyes to different cars and possibilities. So that's one of the great things about NRL. It could be a street car, it could be a dirt track car, it could be a race car. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
No two races the same.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a 10-lap race on hard
exactly.
tires.
Yeah, there's always some kind of trick of sorts, something you have to pay attention to, or you're done.
Yep.
It could be a fuel saver,
the tire combo,
saver. Yeah,
there's always something in there, some strategy that you got to be aware of.
Yeah, it's really.
And again, hats off to McNaughty for all the hard work that he puts in.
Yeah.
He doesn't take a dime.
And it just keeps getting better and better. Just all around.
So,
between the broadcasting and all that shit. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, McNaughty, if you guys checked the Discord, especially earlier in the season, he mentioned that he set up a program to try to run simulation strategies, right? And that, I think, mostly came from a necessity because I think a lot of his testers, back in the past, he would rely a bit on Simon to test. But since he's, in the World Series right now and, doesn't exactly have the time to help McNaughty, McNaughty, I think, really took most of the brunt in terms of testing, which isn't uncommon, obviously. But I could be wrong, but I don't think there was anyone else that helped him test all the races. I think he was doing it all by himself. So, no, he definitely puts in the effort for NRL. It shows in the product that we were able to broadcast, thankfully.
Oh yeah.
It does.
And all the drivers, all the drivers seem to have enjoyed it thoroughly. Not only is it very clean racing and everyone owns up to mistakes, But there really wasn't any time this season where any of the drivers had a fit over a decision or anything like that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, again, it just hats off to McNaughty, and yeah, it just starts with him, and then the people that he has helping, and it's just run really, really well.
It
and,
is. It's the most professional league I've seen and watched on YouTube and been a part of as a driver as well. I mean, there was another league that I was in. I've only been in a couple leagues, and dude, the one that we had that we don't really talk about, they tried to be professional and tried to, be at this level.
There's a lot of bias in that league.
Yeah, exactly. They just couldn't get it done, and that's why. I mean, McNaughty
They couldn't set aside their egos.
Exactly. And he was also racing in it.
Yeah, so they were
Globular.
kind of making stuff up as they go.
Exactly. And McNaughty
Yeah,
sits
I hope
back
it
in the
spreads out.
background and does his thing and makes the magic happen with everyone else that's a part of it. So hats off to all you guys, man. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I think with that, I think it's really, you have to kind of look at the scale of the league, right? Like, could McNaughty, well, one, McNaughty could not actually compete because he's a producer and he does so much stuff in the background. But even if someone was able to kind of replace that role and let him be a driver, there's just such a conflict of interest at that point, especially on the scale of something like NRL, where I think we had the most signups ever entering the season at like over 70. Like it just becomes like impossible for that. You can if you could be like a series owner if it was like only an internal series, right? Like if it's only between teammates, that's doable. But once you get other teams and people involved, and you have a stewarding team, you have a broadcasting team, you have a producing team, you have a rule book in terms of the championship and stewarding, it just scale-wise, it's just not viable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's kind of touch base. Go back to the scoring system, which is F1 scoring. Do you have some thoughts on that, HverCraft?
Yeah, I think the F1 point system is horrible. I think it's by far one of the worst point systems in any motorsport. There are literal videos on YouTube, you can look it up, from mathematicians and statisticians that make very compelling arguments as to why it's just not a good point system. The biggest issue, there's two main issues with the F1 point system. One, it gives too much to the winner, right? The gap between first place and second place is 7 points. The gap between second and third is literally only 3 points.
30, yeah.
So it gives such an advantage to the winner.
So real quick, so for people that don't know, it's 25 points for first, 18 for second, 15 for third.
Yeah.
Correct?
It goes all the way down to 10th place, which 10th place gets 1 point, and then everyone after that gets 0 points. So yeah, one of the biggest problems is it gives too much to the winner. Especially, and how that applies to the NRL format is the winner if you win one race during the four rounds, you're guaranteed a spot in the finals, which doesn't sound bad necessarily, right? The winner should be rewarded quite a lot. But the issue when it comes to that is that, at least from the viewer's perspective, well, why do I care about whoever wins the first race for the rest of the season? Like, I already know they're going to be in the finals. Right. Like, from a viewer perspective, there's no reason for me to care about Wid, Jorge, JP Scale, and I think it was Sheldo who won the first 4 rounds, or first 4 races of round 1, for the rest of the season. Because that's how much of a gain first place gets, right?
Yeah.
But there's the other half of the equation as well, and that's that it doesn't give enough points to the lower place finishers, right? If you, let's say you're dead middle in the pack of every race for 4 rounds. 7th place. So that's, I think, 4, 5, 6 points. Let's say 6 points. Well, if I finish 7th in every round throughout the season, at 6 points a pop, that would be 24 points. The only finals I would have gone into that possibly is Division B.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be right at the back of the pack.
Yep.
And that's depending on if the guy, there was someone that I think landed on 24 points. If that person got a 6th place result, he would have beaten me. Because it goes by whoever gets the more of the higher positions, right? So I think it just doesn't give, it gives too much to the winner. It doesn't give enough to, the mid-pack. And we kind of, see problems throughout the season where it's like, all right, if you win one race, you could just not try at all for the next 3 rounds, and you'll probably still get in, right?
Right.
And I just, that's not necessarily a bad thing for the drivers or the driving aspect, but for a viewing aspect, I just don't think that's the best way to run it, right?
Keep it tight enough to make it more exciting.
Exactly. As a broadcaster, you have to think about making it entertaining, right? You're delivering entertainment at the end of the day to the viewers. So I think the best way to kind of... Sorry.
No, go on. I was just going to say, would you like to see them double the points, where it's maybe like 50 and then 45 for second or something, where everybody's kind of scoring points and...
Yeah, I think the best way is kind of similar to that. I think it's mostly it's more dependent not necessarily on the quantity of points you get. It's dependent on the gaps between the positions, right? Funnily enough, I think one of the best point systems that motorsport has ever seen was NASCAR's during the Winston Cup era. There was a 10-point gap between all the finishers except for first place, which I think got 20 points, right? But you would also be able to gain bonus points depending on different variables throughout the race, right? So I think you got bonus points for fastest lap. You get bonus points if you led the most laps. I think you got bonus points if you took... I think you could do quite a lot of different things to it, right? But I think, at least for an NRL format, in terms of you have 4 rounds before you get into the finals, I think it should take on something like that. One, it keeps all drivers more in it, right? You win one race, you can try at 70%, and you're most likely still getting into the finals. If you have smaller gaps between all the drivers, you're more encouraged to keep on trying, keep on going, because if you fall away a little bit, then it's very possible that you will get eliminated, right? You're never safe with that format. And I think it would be fun and interesting, especially trying to throw up different strategies with bonus points kind of aspects, right? I think it would be interesting if we put in a rule where the person that leads the most laps gets a bonus point. I think it would be interesting to see the person that takes the most fuel gets a bonus point. Because it kind of throws up kind of the strategy aspect a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Could you extend 1 or 2 extra laps to try to gain that bonus point at the cost of possibly being undercut?
Yeah, I would like to see that implemented. I think that would, definitely keep viewer interest a little bit higher and everything. So yeah, and plus kind of driver morale too.
Yeah.
I maybe didn't win the race, but I did lead the most laps. I get an extra point for that. Fastest lap, whatever it may be, kind of deal. Yeah, so a couple extra bonus points. So,
and I do think to kind of offset, because I would personally recommend every position gets the point equal to their position. So first, let's say 14th place gets 1 point, 13th gets 2, 12th gets 3, yep. Up and up and up until first place, which I do think first place does get a bonus. I think first place should get 14.5 per se, right? Because I do think the win should be valued the most. But if you keep the gaps equal throughout the rest of the positions, right, the points
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just... There's no dead points in a way, if you get what I mean. Like, every single point counts. And I think that's just ultimately also helps with making sure that once you get to the finals, it is the 14 best Division B and Division A drivers.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because
It
that
does.
point system really supports the idea of whichever one are the 14th best average finishers, those are the guys that are going to get into the finals most likely.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. Yeah, I think the drivers, like Sean, you being a driver,
Mhm.
I mean, how do you see that the point system?
Yeah, I'd like to see it a little bit closer for sure, like what he was saying, between, because first and to second, yeah, that's a big gap. So, bring all the points a little bit closer to make it a bigger battle to score and to get in. To be a lot
Yeah,
more.
because I mean, with heavy damage, if you do have a bad race, something happens.
Right. You can still come back. You have a chance to still make it.
Yeah, you may finish again 13th, 14th because of something that happened that maybe
Mhm.
wasn't your fault, but you were the victim of, and then it's not like, oh shit, well now I'm completely out of it or whatever. I think it kind of just gives everybody more a fighting chance throughout the season.
Exactly. Yeah, because
Kinda
it's a
deal.
short season. It's quick.
It is.
So
It is.
yeah, to keep that tighter, that's a good idea. I like it. McNaughty, if you're
Yeah,
listening, check it out.
Well, he does a questionnaire at the end of the year, so
Right.
He does. And I'll probably talk to him on the side at some point to try to
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah.
try to go over it, because I think overall I think it's better. I think I would also I don't know if this would work the best, but I think a drop round. I am always in the mindset that drop rounds are healthy for league racing. Mostly because we're all adults, we all have jobs, we all have lives.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a time where a driver has an emergency and isn't able to compete, right?
Right.
And I don't think they should be necessarily punished to the point where they have no chance of making the finals anymore. They should be, given one extra kind of round. And I just personally think it's the healthiest way to do a league, right? Because ultimately, it's better to design a league in making the least, how do I say it? It's best practice to try to format a league rule set by making it so even the people with the least amount of appearances still feel that they can get a good overall result at the end of the season.
Right.
Because if you do that, that's only going to scale upwards positively to the people that are participating the full season. It's not the best. It's not good to try to make the rule set feel like you're obligated to compete every round, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So, what would you like to see it a 6-race season and then the 7th race being a championship, so you can have a throwaway, or?
Realistically, not. I will say this is the first one. We had 5 rounds in total, right? Every round before this, it was 3 rounds until you get to the finals. It got tiring. I'm not gonna lie. Each broadcast is at least 3 hours, right, between the Division B, Division A race.
And sometimes
even
people
if you
double duty Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, and for McNaughty especially, he's guaranteed to be double duty every single round.
Right. Yep.
And that's 6 hours right there for one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's the best way to move forward, adding extra rounds. That's why I say a drop round is very 50-50 for me because of the short length of the season. I could see both it not working and both make it work extremely well.
Right.
But I always say I'm just an advocate for that, just because it's coming from me, right? As a driver who's competed in other leagues, it's always nice to come across a series where it's like, all right, it's 8 rounds, but 2 of them are drop rounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's just beneficial for me because those 2 drop rounds, right? Let's say I do get to compete every round. Great, I can, I'm still competing at my 100%. But let's say, I may be, there may be an emergency or I get called into work or maybe there's an event that comes up last minute I really want to go to. I'm not punished for that overall. Right. I can still be an adult. I can still live my life outside of GT7 and league racing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that's just best practice overall. But like I said, it could, NRL with how short it is, it possibly may not be too beneficial.
Right. Yeah, I think if revising the points would be the best, because if someone did happen to miss something, they could still be in the running with the revised point system, at least.
Yeah, with the draw, I think you would have to extend at least 1 or 2 more races to implement that and to make it work.
At least 6.
In my, yeah. Does IRO do they have that?
IRO has its own point system. I'm not too familiar with the main series because I don't really dabble in that. I'm more in the sprint series. It's a good point system. It's a custom-made one. I don't think it's based off any motorsport currently. Okay. It works really well. The gaps in between each position are very reasonable. Yeah, I have no real complaints about that, especially with the format of it, being, you have 2 stints, so I think it works pretty well for what it's trying to cater for.
Yeah, and that's also a longer season as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are what, once a month?
Kind of basically. Yeah. We have 8 rounds, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Runs a lot longer and everything, and obviously the races are much longer too. So, how many people are involved in that, and how involved are you in that league?
So with IRO, like I said, I'm not in the endurance championship. I'm not in the main series side. I'm only in the sprint side.
Yep.
So I'm a commentator for pretty much all the opening stints of Split 1.
And you and McNaughty host, yep. Correct?
Yep. Sometimes Slow-Mo comes in to color commentate, but sometimes, he's unavailable, so that's why I was mentioning earlier that, we extended the offer to JK. Unfortunately, he was busy that day, but hopefully we get to see him in that broadcast later on in the season. Besides that, I'm also the head steward for that league, just to, try and move along the tickets. And then besides that, I personally don't do much more on that, but I think we are fielding 3 cars in that championship. If I'm remembering correctly, I think 2 in Split 1 and then 1 in Split 2. So okay. That's pretty much all the S7R involvement, besides, helping running the league as well.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah, there's just so many leagues out there to get involved in. And, they run really well, and again have a lot of good drivers. Again, Flawed was running the one for South Africa, doing the commentary and production and all that for them. I'm sure there's ones in Asia that we don't even know about, but here in at least North America and Europe, there's just so many league racings leagues. It's just I think that's where a lot of people get their enjoyment in GT7 is league racing versus dailies, and everything. So it's cool to see.
Well, let's be honest, dailies are a joke now.
They are.
Manufacturers has been sort of a joke too. I mean, the race yesterday was 10 laps.
Yeah.
On hard tires. It was a 17-minute race with an hour and 15-minute wait until the next race.
Jesus.
Yeah. This week's dailies, Daytona. It's kind of everybody's desperate
Yeah.
Race A seems to be the best one because it's like a hard car to drive, and it doesn't seem like everybody's overdriving the car, or I'm just out in front. One of the two.
Yeah, that's that old Mercedes F1 car at
yeah.
Watkins Glen Short Course.
It's a tough car. Regardless here, it's a tough car to drive there. It gets loose easy, so you have to be more cautious, which makes you technically better in the races better because everybody's trying not to die.
Right.
And
That's what it comes down to.
And sorry for my Canadian people, but yeah, I just can't stand that Group 3 race this week. I don't like that track.
Oh no, fuck! It's fucking. It's a stupid.
Which one
race.
is it? Where are they at?
Jacques Villeneuve.
Oh yeah.
Group 3. I think it's the Aston Martin is the meta.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to try to say the track.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll cut it up. Yeah.
Gilles Villeneuve, but it's the Jacques.
Yeah, Gilles Villeneuve.
And I think it's only 5 laps, so it's
not
again,
a course
wait.
for racing, really, all that much. Even Sean can attest. Look how hard your that race was for you, Sean.
Oh yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
You know.
Oh my god.
But you're waiting longer than you are actually racing.
Yeah, I think it could be maybe good for the carts or something like that.
Right.
That would be
Yeah,
Small cars.
Miatas.
Miatas, like smaller cars, slightly slower.
Yes.
You need slower speeds, smaller cars to race there, really.
Well, I mean, the curves
it's
are
a
so
technical
high.
track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will.
That's
say-
why I think.
Mhm.
I was going to say the Division B final was really fun because
That's
I
what I
was
was
testing
gonna
it myself. Even though I hated that Nissan, it understeered like hell. It was really fun trying to figure out how to manage it throughout the entire track. I think it's also that's the other thing that I will say whenever I test combinations. It's always interesting to see the differences between how I did it, how I figured out the strategy, and how to run the lap quickly, versus how everyone did it. It's interesting to do that compare and contrast, especially when you have basically eagle sight across all the 14 drivers.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that race what was very interesting, because of the fuel fill, how slow. So again,
Every
that
savings
race
counts.
really came down
Every-
to fuel saving.
Yep. Big time.
And you got to give a shout out to Sheldon. Just feel so sorry for
me
him.
too. Yeah. Dude, that's
Getting dropped, and I watched his stream back, and he's like, I hope I'm not dropped, because you just saw random cars just on the side, and his time was still going, and then
he knew it.
You know, he was driving, and you could see it on his face. He ended his stream pretty much right then and there. He was heartbroken, because I do think it would have come down to you and him for second.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would have been a great race.
Caper, possibly. You know,
For
for second at
Caper
least.
got himself up there.
Oh, dude.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
All of a sudden, he was there. Like, oh
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, he was flying.
Got to get moving.
Yeah, so it would have been interesting to see what it played out if Shell didn't get. But he had a great season.
Oh yeah. Amazing season.
He dominated his side.
Yep.
He was just on.
Yep. First overall, Division B. I was right behind him though in second, so I was happy.
Yes. Yeah. So very excited. And then race day was exciting. And then I was just kind of doing some stuff around the house. It was Whit and Jorge, and then doing some laundry. Next thing I know, like Whit is back a couple spots. So I didn't see exactly what happened there.
Spun it.
Okay.
Exit the last corner.
Yep.
Final corner.
A lot of people were spinning in that race.
Yeah.
That was a crazy race.
It was. It was like Jorge was saying though, like it was it felt better and faster to do an extra pit stop to be on fresher tires, because once you got below that 50%, dude, if you got on that gas a little just too much, man, you're spinning. You're spinning.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were doing that, just trying to do the one stop. But real quick, shout out to JP Scale for NRL Champion Division B. Great job, buddy. He
Yeah,
did it.
he had 33 liters when he went in.
Dude.
He was just on fuel map 2 and saving
that
fuel like a madman.
mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
and again, he saved 15, 16 seconds.
15,
That's the
16
difference.
seconds worth of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was crazy.
I was watching, and I was just like, okay, I'm looking at the time gaps, this and that, and I'm just thinking, okay, this should be a battle for first with Sean and Shell to the end. And then the disconnection, and then all of a sudden I seen JP, I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? And then the commentators were all talking about it, and you could see that he saved a bunch of time.
Oh,
It was just like, it was like a whole pit stop.
yeah.
It was just like, how, like, that was genius. Like, he came
Well,
out of nowhere.
I will
I'll be
say
honest.
it's not just that where he fuel saved a lot. It was also how well he was able to keep up the pace besides that, because the car needed to be short shifted anyways, right?
Yep.
The
Yep.
torque curve, you were getting all your power by 5.5 k RPM, right? So you were short shifting anyways. But he did the opening stint on the mediums on, like, I think lean mixture 3. He
Oh,
did
I
wow.
thought it was 2, but okay, maybe
2
it
or
was
3.
3. I thought he was on
Damn.
2, but
Okay.
yeah.
But that was the thing. I was like, I was second cam on it, so the little screen on the bottom right of the broadcast, right?
Yeah.
I was the one that mostly controlled it. And whenever that wasn't on the screen, I was kind of roaming around, checking all the tires and fuel. I barely noticed that JP Scale was doing a lean mixture. Like, I was on him for 1 or 2 laps. I noticed that he had more fuel, right? I knew that. I pointed that out. But I was looking at him, it's like, he's not lifting and coasting. He's not short-shifting it much more than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it was only towards the end of the first stint where I was like, how the fuck is he saving fuel? It's
Right.
lean mixture.
Yeah.
That was the only way. And I don't know if he was, like, changing it, up and down during the race. I think he told me that he was just keeping it at 2 the entire time.
Okay.
But when I was doing...
Sheld was going back and forth between 1 and 2.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay. But when I did my testing, like, it just never kind of occurred to me to put it up to 2, because
Me either.
I was more focused on pace.
Mm-hmm.
I was focused on just trying to keep the front tires, from spinning too much. I think, Sam, I think you remembered me jumping into that practice lobby before the race started, and I was telling everyone, you guys gotta get 24.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to do those times myself, but I genuinely, like, if me and JP Skill did a one-on-one, even with the pace advantage that I had, I don't think it would have been very close between me and him because of just how much he was able to manage the car.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, his lap times were so consistent. So
It was.
consistent. It was insane. Within tenths of a second each lap. It was wild.
Yeah. Again, he was content just being a second and a half
Yeah.
behind the guy that was behind you, Sean.
Cool.
And then, just keeping that distance, and he just knew he
Played
had
long
way
game.
better fuel than
Yeah.
everybody.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
again, hats off to him.
Because I was
He
just trying
ran-
to keep with Sheld and save fuel as much as I could, but just couldn't do it.
Perfect strategies. Again, the same thing happened in a couple. I see this all the time in the NRL. Like, it's just, it throws a wrench into the normal bit of racing that you're expecting, and all of a sudden somebody did something that was absolutely genius, and they pop out in front. Like, like, how did that?
Well,
Like, it
Yes,
happens
or fourth
all
and
the time.
first. Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at Corridor last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
What is he doing? What is he doing? Oh my God, that was genius.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes the norm isn't, and that's kind of what even Jim pointed out, like, in practice as a team for any event that means anything, that you can figure out with multiple people what the benefits of doing these oddball things or variations, because you have 20 races to practice during the week. You know what I mean, kind of thing. And you can figure out, if I do this and this, do I actually make up anything, or is this going to be way too bad? So.
And that's why it's so important to be on a team if you're doing league racing, especially when there are multiple combinations that could possibly work for a race. you need other teammates and people you can rely on to practice and figure this stuff out, because there's not enough time in the day for some guy just to join a
Exactly.
league and test multiple combos and then, figure it out. Because by that time it's friggin' race day or whatever.
Mhm.
And you're just kind of always behind and, chasing. So to have, teammates and
Reacting
people
to
you rely on
everybody.
that are fast and get the right combination and strategy.
Yeah. Well, that's like
Um,
Captain Slow is so fast and he's good. Is he controller?
He is very good.
Is he
I
controller?
think he is.
Okay.
His tire wear.
Yeah,
makes me
because
think he is.
you would see that, and there was just some situations where you're like, oh man, I don't think he got enough practice. He must have just was trying to wing it or something. I think he even said a couple of times he was just like, didn't have enough time for practice, so I'm just hopping in,
Yeah,
and seeing what happens.
Yeah, and that stuff happens. So, for somebody like him, it would be very beneficial. Just join a team, maybe a bigger team.
He's on a team, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is
yeah,
it?
Puerto Rican organization
Yeah.
something, but I don't know how active that team. He's
Oh,
the
is
first
that
one I've ever
Fox's
come
old
across.
team? PSRT or
No.
No, not PSRT.
No.
It's
Okay.
PROD.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
Puerto Rican.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Puerto Rican organization drivers, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you should start a different account and join
Join us.
S7R, VIP, or PHP,
something.
one of the bigger teams, and so
Yeah,
just so you can get
because
some data and.
Did he make the final?
I don't
He
think-
made, he qualified, but I think he had
race.
something to do that
Yeah.
day.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because if he didn't, because he cost himself probably the finals in those first two races by not knowing what to fully do. I think
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he could have been right there at the top of the leaderboard. Two races, he just mixed up some strategy and ended up losing that time and position and points. And then with the larger spread of points, kind of really is costly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for league racing, I think it's important if you're really big into dailies or Manu or nations. You don't have to. You could just watch a YouTuber
Right.
and kind of see what they do or something like that. But with these league races,
with this,
it's really important
It's
to join the
commitment.
team.
It's the only thing I concentrated on when it was race weeks was that race and that car, and that's all I did was just that. Nothing else.
Well,
Yeah.
You have to if you're going to take it seriously.
Yep.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Again, Jorge is the perfect example. Back-to-back champion.
Back to
you know,
back.
Has
that guy
anybody
puts in
ever
the
done
work.
that? Is
Yeah. Wid did it
Yeah.
and Mullet.
With Ed Bullet.
So they're shooting for him to do a three-peat. They were telling him, he's like,
Three-peat,
let me enjoy this one first. Let me enjoy
Yeah.
this one for a minute.
But
Then
again,
we'll
he
think
puts
about
in the
that.
work,
Dude.
and
So good.
definitely.
That was,
More rings than Brady.
woo. It's going to get there. Because the way Jorge drives, man, and the way he was, oh, man. Holy shit, man.
I think it's the way he thinks about the
that
race
too, yeah.
and the strategy.
And he was giving props
You
to Babajito for helping him out and figuring out
yeah,
the two-stop and stuff.
VR
so,
Mafia.
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Jorge, guy's amazing. Killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kai,
Yeah.
too. The Kai is so good. And there's so many good drivers in this league. It's insane. It is insane.
Yeah, Division A is stacked.
Oh, stacked to the max, man.
A lot of
But I
fast.
think-
So, Sean, are you shooting for that?
I mean, I'll
next
shoot for it. See what happens during qualifies. For next season, am I an automatic since I finished second?
Yeah, you're automatic for
Top three.
Division B
Okay.
as long as you do the pre-qualifying round.
Right.
But obviously, if you get into Division A,
So if
you
I
get
accidentally
into
shit
Division
the bed in qualifying, I'm still in.
A. Yeah, you're still Division
Okay.
B.
You
But
just have
yeah,
to
I mean,
participate
I'd
minimum.
love to shoot for A and see what would happen. But
Hey, HverCraft, how do you feel like the winner of Division B should automatically be bumped up to the A? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think for a very few selective drivers, it could work. I could easily see Shadow, be at least decent in Division A. I could easily see Sim at least being able to hold his weight. But there's been a few times
It's a
where
lot
there's
of weight. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
But there are some, like, for example, if we look at two of my teammates, Mr. Racing and Nuke. Mr. Racing and Nuke were contenders for the Division B championship last year. The only difference is that Mr. Racing wasn't on S7R at the time. Mr. Racing was pretty decent in Division A. Nuke, I don't think he had a bad season in Division A, but when I was talking to him throughout the season, he felt like he was very much kind of a sitting duck half the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could do a good performance there and there, but he didn't feel like he had the consistency to, be a threat for that. So I think it could be that. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea in the world. But then you have to look at it, okay, is it going to be the winner of Division B permanently keeps up in Division A, or just last season's Division B championship gets to Division A?
Well,
So, like,
yeah,
let's say Sorry.
Go on. I
let's
just think, yeah, with JP's, like, with him winning, his thing is if he's going to participate in Season 8, he is automatically moved up to Division A, and he's the only one since he's the champion.
Yeah. Well,
And then what would happen is if he, doesn't do well in Division A, you qualify the next year, and if he qualifies in Division A, he goes up. If it's B again, then he's in B again.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily the bad thing, but it's also like, I don't think I have enough data to really say yes or no to that. Like I said, I think some drivers in Division B could certainly hold a match to the guys in Division A.
Yeah.
But I think there are some drivers in which they may not. Because the hard part is that, because I see some drivers be really good in pure race pace, and then the other ones being in strategy, right? And that's why I love NRL. You could realistically be either style of driving. But it's really hard to beat out raw race pace. Like, that's just a true fact, right? As much of a good strategy as you can have, if you're a second a lap faster, it's really hard to make a strategy to overcome that deficit. Yeah. That's why I see Shadow and Sim possibly be there, as well as JP's skill to give it some weight. But that's why I think Nuke felt like he was struggling a bit in the season, because he's a great strategist, but he just simply doesn't have the raw race pace to be there. And there are some other drivers, I think, that would fall in that same category. Not saying they don't deserve the shot, I'm just saying, that's possibly what could possibly happen.
Yep.
Got it.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, again, Shell last year, who knows what would have happened. So, but Corridor won it last year. I felt like Corridor, he should have been bumped up into A. So that's just my thought. But, yeah.
How do you feel about people using stability, the brake markers, the bubbles, the counter steer? How do you feel about drivers using that in either division? Well, are they allowed to use it in Division A?
Yeah. The only assist that isn't technically allowed is auto drive, but there's no way to truly turn off auto drive.
Right.
But I will say auto drive, if you try to cheat it and it's like, oh, you're about to spin out, but you use auto drive to save yourself, you will probably get looked at and possibly pick up a penalty. But everything else is legal. For me, I think honestly, at least for me, it's just personal preference at this point. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I will be confused if you use it on very easy cars to drive, I'll say that. But there are some advantages. For example, the racing line. Some of my teammates use the racing line not necessarily for dry racing, but if there's a track that ever turns wet, having the racing line is useful to make sure you avoid it. Right? You don't want to be on the dry racing line during a wet race because that's where the least amount of grip will be. But besides that, some people like the braking markers, some people like the cones. I think that's very reasonable. I personally don't use it because I think I don't like having that many things on my screen. I think it gets really distracting on my end. In terms of the other driving assist, I think traction control is really the only one really worth looking at. ABS as well, technically. But like the counter steer, the stability assist, unless McNaughty throws one of the weirdest combinations with a car, like the Tomahawk on comfort tires, I don't see any real benefit in getting that. I know some people were using it for the F1 race on the Division A side, but there were plenty of drivers that used none of that and still did perfectly fine. So I think it really is just, at this point, just if you prefer it, great. But if you don't, it's also whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We are believers in leaving it pretty raw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're like, there's no
Traction,
reason to
yeah.
have brake traction and ABS, yes. But
Everything else,
we think everything else should be turned off.
No braking grid. No.
Especially if you're an A driver.
Well,
Yeah, I think
I
if
just
you've
think
made
for
it to the
league.
A lobbies,
Yeah.
but I think
You
for
know-
the league in general, I think it's a high enough caliber league where all of the drivers who make it in are fast enough
Should
that
know.
they don't need to use that stuff anymore.
And I think they would be faster.
I think they would be faster also. I think the bubbles and the cones and everything else, I think it becomes a safety blanket. You know,
I think-
it's just
yeah.
you're
It's a crutch.
used to having
It's
it
a crutch.
there.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to having it there. You don't necessarily need it, but it's there and it makes you feel good.
I think
Yeah,
they're jabbing at me.
We love you, Toby.
It's our little hints, Toby. You're fast enough. You don't need
You're
it.
fast
Start
enough, you
working
don't need that
little
stuff.
by little.
All I have is the bubbles and the drive line, and
Yeah.
like he was
Yeah,
saying, it's like a rain race,
Right.
And I don't know.
A rain race, I'm totally down to use the driving line. I don't have a problem with that. But the bubbles, you don't need those anymore.
The bubs.
You know your mark.
The bubbies.
You know
Well,
your marks.
Like yesterday, like I was saying, if you're up on
Behind.
the guy in front of you's bumper,
Right.
I can't see anything, so I kind of I default to using those, and if it's not as easy to turn them on and off, so I you know what? I don't even really use them except for that, because they can be in the back of my mind. But once I'm on somebody's bumper, it's really hard for me to see where the
Right, at
turn-in
least you
point
know
is.
where you're going.
Yeah.
Well, and you're not always able to be on and get in the practice either.
Oh, you're busy.
Yeah.
Like, you're a
Right.
busy man. So I
Yeah.
can sort of understand that. But in the end, it's like, when it comes to league racing, especially at the level that NRL is, I think we need to take away those
But I don't think you can.
Security
You can't-
blankets.
Yeah. Well, unless they stream,
I
there'd
don't
be
use
no
them
way
as
to
training wheels. I use them as visual aids.
know.
Yeah,
But
because
I think the only way you could monitor that is if everybody streamed on
Yeah.
YouTube and then
There's
they
no
watch
way.
the race back or something.
And that's a
Yeah.
lot of
Like the
time.
braking stuff, I don't use. You know,
Yeah.
or what do you call it? The braking grid.
Yeah.
You know, the red lines. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
that
use
just
those.
fucks
But
with
that's the
my
only
eyes,
thing.
man. That
That's
that,
just
that
so
messes
weird.
with
Me
my
too.
That
eyeballs.
shit's annoying.
Yeah.
And then I brake too early with that.
Yeah, because it shows you your braking
Way
point
too
is
early.
25 meters before you should be braking.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with the visual aids. It's just like half the time it's inconsistent.
yep.
It just doesn't work. Half the time the racing line isn't the racing line. Well, it also depends on the car, to be fair. But then the other half is like, okay, I mean, cool, but when I'm, let's say there's changing conditions, let's say, I'm battling, side by side. I don't have time to be looking at those visual aids to be, to be able to use them effectively. B, the visual aids are useless because if I'm on a defensive line, guess what? My breaking point is different because I'm covering someone off. If the headwind, if the headwind completely changes 180, well, the braking markers / the cones are like useless. I have to adapt with a different point. So it's like on that end, I just don't find it very useful because, like I said, it's just inconsistent or flat out wrong. And then for the other driving assist, mostly counter steer and stability. Yeah, I agree. I think you're just overall slower. Like it's better to be able to just learn how to rotate the car with the slide in mind. Because ultimately, that's how you learn how to control and manipulate over an understeer.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Again, I mean, obviously you have a steering wheel, but you are turning the car a lot with your brake and throttle. So it is again the best to turn all that stuff off. I can see, you're just getting into the game, you don't know much, whatever. But once you advance to that A level, it's time to start turning those crutches off and whatnot.
Really show yourself
I'm not
what
even
you're
a
made
fan
of.
of traction control unless it's in rain. Like I still don't think you should use TC unless it's a rain race. And so a lot of people don't.
I had it on last night. I had it on one last night for the championship just to try and save tires on that one because that fucker, dude, it spins those bastards quick.
Eats them.
Eats them.
For me personally, if I use traction control, it's funnily enough more than anything just to save tires. Because at least for me, I actually find turning on the field map to 2 for the exit of the corners to be a more effective traction control.
Okay.
Because the kind of the point where you still get that point where you can use the throttle to rotate more to try to flip the car around. But it knows it enough where you won't, well, at least for me, you won't spin the car out, right?
Right.
Like 2 on the fuel map is funnily enough like a 0.5 traction control.
Okay. Yeah, see, I never mess with the fuel map too much. Because, like, in a lot of races, like, man, I was really jealous of that Division A championship race. I would have loved to have been in that one. Because I love those cars, and especially there. Because I could see, like, as the tires wear down on that one, then I would turn the traction on with those. But other than that, yeah, dude, I'd have that shit off and just flying.
Well, another great thing in VR with that type of car is you see the tire degradation.
Yeah.
You actually see the tires deteriorate lap after lap. And
pretty cool.
It
visually tells you to caution. Because you can see it. You can see it. It's like no matter what you do, you see those tires getting shredded in front of your face. It's like, oh, fuck. You can see when you get dirty tires.
Yeah.
You'll see gravel in the tires.
That's right.
Shit like that.
All the
dirt,
marbles.
sand, kind of shit. Like it's.
But me, I
don't
just
need
short
that
shift.
shit.
Yeah,
Short
same
shift
here.
seems to be the most effective.
A lot of short shifting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really dependent on the car.
True.
Yep.
That's why I also think joining a team is so useful. Everyone can drive the car a little bit differently to find it. Like for the Division B final, the Nissan, because I didn't try the field mapping that JP skill did, but when after that thing I did a few laps on it. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get out of the corners and not spin the wheels on field map 2. I felt like I didn't need it.
Right.
I felt like I didn't need it because I had enough control over the throttle to not have needed it.
Right.
But if I was in that race and I knew that track, hell yeah, I would have done that because it's you may lose half a tenth over a lap because of it, but in return you get so much more consistent tires and laps.
More. Yeah.
and it's way worth it.
Right. No, I didn't even think of
For
that.
For example, because I remember this in a while ago, the Lamborghini Fuji, it's by far the quickest car around, but it's very snappy in that final sector, going up the hill with all those corners.
Yeah.
There, I would use Fuel Map 2 because traction control would kill my power too much. But Fuel Map is like perfect where I don't get all of the torque to spin me out, but I still get a little bit added bonus of traction added traction to the rear.
Okay. I'm liking this. Nice little
Mhm.
new
Good
tip.
tip.
New tip.
Tricks of the trade.
That's right.
As they
You
say.
get to that section, Fuel Map 2, you get out of that section, pop it back down, and go. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, where Scale was just in 2 the whole time. Sheldo was bouncing between 1 and 2. Sean was just in 1.
Just short shift.
Yeah, and I kept Sean, you got to short shift more, man. You got to short shift more.
Dude, and that
I'm
sun, that sun was bright.
I'm like, don't shift so soon.
Yeah.
That was what or don't shift down so
Downshifts,
soon.
yeah.
Yeah, your downshifts were killing you because you were coming in and you were, as soon as you hit your brakes, you were like, man. I'm like,
Instead
don't do
of on
that.
the brakes and then downshifting.
Yep, get on your brakes, let
Adrenaline.
your speed come down, then downshift.
Well, especially
Yep.
at the start of the race, it was like, okay, I was popping out of just doing some laps, and then all of a sudden it was starting, and we're on the grid. I'm like, oh shit, good thing I'm on the right tires, and then my heart was beating all fast. Yeah, the beginning of that was a little rough, because I was not ready for that. That's for sure.
But I think overall, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think overall the season was really incredible. I think all the drivers did well, and I don't think there was a single boring race whatsoever.
Yeah,
There
I don't
wasn't.
either. No, between
There
both.
was-
That was
There was always something developing on the track. There was always someone trying out, the off strategy. There was always a battle. There was I can't remember a single race where me and my fellow commentators, be it Toon, Toddy, TK's Flot, whoever I was commentating with, I couldn't remember a single time where we ran out of things to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was
There's
action-packed.
action everywhere.
It's funny because last season I said this over and over again. The A races, for the most part, were boring. The A championship was boring. The B races were all across the board were exciting. This year, both series, both divisions were just incredible.
insane.
There was
Yeah.
so much racing that was happening.
I agree too. I've watched here and there over seasons and not really fully getting into every race. And this season, every race was insane. One of my buddies, Drew, just started driving. He doesn't watch this shit. He's not into watching racing necessarily at all. And he watched one race, like the qualifying in the Porsches at Road Atlanta, and he messaged, "Did you see that today?" Holy fuck! Like he watches it too. He's so he subscribes. He gets the notifications when it comes on because this is insane. This is exciting footage, like racing to watch.
yeah.
And this season, like A and B, it didn't matter. Friday, Saturday, it didn't matter. They were combos, the races, amazing this season. Really,
was.
really was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
people that don't watch racing I was passing the races all around, even my sister and my nephews and all that, and they're into cars and into racing, but dude, they're like, holy shit, this looks real. This is amazing. You guys, this is like top notch.
It is.
Yeah, man.
It is real for us.
It is.
I have to tell people, it's like I can't afford going out and buying a Miata
Right?
and trying to race it.
Oh god. It's expensive.
Or it's expensive for anything. Jermaine talks about how
Yeah.
expensive it
And
is
the
for him to
Civic.
race his Civic. It's easy $1,000 a race.
Yeah.
You go in for the weekend and you know that you're going to be spending $1,000.
Yep.
I can't do that, but you know what I can do? I can go into my garage and hop into whatever car I want and race it.
Yeah. I love it. It's the best. It is the best. So congratulations to Division A champion Jorge and Division B champion JP Scale for Season 7 of NRL. And then, HverCraft, you had some announcements you wanted to make.
Yeah, S7R will be hosting a brand new series going over the summer. We're going to be trying to start it June/July, and it should run up until September, right before the next season of NRL. I will actually be the series organizer / race director for the series, and it's going to be a one make throughout the entire season.
Okay.
With the Red Bull Juniors.
Ooh.
Fun.
Ooh.
On sports tires?
No, but it's going to be racing tires.
I
but
like that.
There's going to be, it's going to be very similar to the Division B finals,
Okay.
where each of the racing compounds needs to be ran. But specifically, you're only allowed 2 pit stops. If you do 1, you get a penalty. If you do 3, you get a penalty.
Ooh.
And how I specifically designed it was that you have to. It's not going to be, you run softs and mediums all the way to the end and then do 1 lap on hards. No, the softs and the mediums will not last that long. You will need to genuinely run the hards.
I like it.
But
good.
When I did testing, because my problem with, I think, a lot of league racing, not a problem, but like a common attribute I see a lot is that when it comes to multiple, with all tires being available, very rarely does the hard come out. And I keep, I just think in the back of my mind, and that's mostly due to just how tire wear works in the game and how slow the hard tires really are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that the Rebel Juniors does very well, surprisingly, is that the hards are not slow at all. Like, it's the slowest tires, sure, but you are able to compete on hards. Like, it's not going to be... Because honestly, in this game, the only time a fresh hards is going to be better than a mediums is if the mediums are like 10% from falling off.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But not with the RBJs, surprisingly.
No, there's a few cars in the game that do that.
Yes.
You can actually be competitive times on the slower tires. The tires actually seem like almost like Formula One, where you can set fastest times on hard tires. Not quite, but they are very competitive still once you get some heat into them.
And the other thing that I wanted to design with the series is I want variety, right? I don't want you start on full fuel, you start on the mediums, then you go softs midway, and then you finish out the race. I didn't want that. I wanted all the drivers to look at each race and genuinely see that starting on all the compounds are viable. Mm-hmm. And the way I did that was I manipulated the fuel. A lot of racing series make you start on 100% fuel at the beginning of the race.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is that it's too much weight for the softs and the mediums to handle. So, often enough, you just put on whatever is the slowest, most durable compound at the beginning of the race, off you go. Midway through the race, you have a half-empty fuel tank, you take the softer tire. Very few times will you ever run the reverse strategy, unless you're like at the front of the grid. But even then, it's not necessarily the best strategy half the time. So, the best way to fight against that is by starting each race with low fuel. That way, fuel weight isn't much of a factor, and you could genuinely start on the hards while everyone else runs on the softs and mediums. Keep up. Now you're off the hards right off the beginning, and now you can run the rest of the race on the faster tires and try to make a comeback. And that is a viable strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing does help. I was just thinking that myself because the softs last and because of less fuel weight, but the lighter weight also helps the crappier tire keep pace.
Exactly.
So it kind of does blend out more. Yeah.
And the other thing that I tried, so each race is going to be roughly an hour. It's going to be it could range from 59 minutes to 1 hour and 2 minutes, but basically an hour. I very much designed the tire wear to make it so you cannot just do a soft, medium, and then a 1 lap on hard strat. The hards will be genuinely ran. Also, on that front, the RBJ is a very, how I would say, variable car. You could run it fast, you could, burn your fuel, you could go for hot laps and make up time. Or you could genuinely do kind of an endurance style where you kind of lower your pace, lower your fuel usage, and both strategies are very much reasonable and doable. In terms of outside the race, we're going to be introducing the promotion and demotion system. So depending on how many lobbies we're doing, we're hoping for 3, but it depends on the signups.
Yeah.
Bottom 3 of lobby 1 will be demoted to lobby 2. Top 3 of lobby 2 would be promoted to lobby 1. And so on and so on.
Is this a free league or is there a buy-in?
No, it's not going to be there's no buy-in. It's going to be a free league. Me and McNaughty will be handling the broadcast for lobby 1. We're hoping to be able to get a lobby 2 broadcast at the same time. It just really depends on Stig and how busy he is with IRO, but at least with lobby 1, it will be covered by us. Yeah, there's not really any sort of buy-in. There will be a Google form that eventually comes out. Like I said, we are going to be trying to start this in July, or I think June is technically the pre-qualifying round, and then July to September is the actual race round. 7 rounds in total. We're going to be doing a combination of what we call normal circuits and short tracks. For example, one of the short tracks is going to be Catalunya Short. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think I very much designed the series. It was originally a internal series, because S7R holds its own internal series for its only teammates. I did the last one with a very similar format, and we made some tweaks to the formula, but everyone internally really loved it. The best part about it is that no matter what your skill level was, you were still competitive because of how varied the strategies were.
Now, question: do you have a set in mind day of the week, time zone kind of area, like roughly for anybody listening, just to see if it's something that they could squeeze in their schedule coming up?
Yeah. So we are pretty much set on the dates. It's going to be Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of running on a, rotating schedule in a way. So between pre-qualifying and the first round, I believe it's 2 weeks of a gap. Then first round to second round is a 1 week. Then it goes 2 weeks, 1 week. It's very much like how NRL ran it, right? Mm-hmm. It rotates between 1 or 2 week break. 7 rounds in total, 3 drop rounds, because the thinking is that if you're a typical lobby 1 driver, but you get like a bad race, right? You crash out or you mess up your strategy or whatever. Okay, that's your bad race. You get demoted to lobby 2. You take 1 extra race to get back promoted up to lobby 1, and you still have 1 drop round in the pocket. So even though you got demoted and you got back up to lobby 2, you still have a good chance at the championship.
That's kind of cool.
Like
That kind of makes things a little bit more interesting, doing like that.
Will there be any night races, weather implemented?
Yeah, we're gonna see 3 rounds have let me pull back. Each round is gonna be random weather the entire way through, but there are tracks that have rain.
Okay. Yep.
We do have rules in place. It's going to be kind of like F1, where if you get across a certain point, it will be declared a wet race, and all the tire requirements are thrown out the window.
But to a point, there will be requirements until that. Okay. That's
Cool. So for if random weather never changes, then yes, it's gonna, or never goes to wet, it's gonna still stay with the 2 pit stop requirement. But if it does rain, then you get thrown out. And I definitely looked at trying to pick different kind of tracks. There's also 1 special track that I want to keep under wraps. But some of the tracks are normal league racing stuff. Some of the tracks I feel like you guys may have never ran, and I feel like you're gonna really enjoy it. But the reason, like I said, the Red Bull Junior is a very varied car, and it kind of hits all the marks that I wanted in a league racing car. Easy enough to drive where it's not hard to learn, but it's not easy to master. There are tricks with the car that you can learn to eke out an extra tenth here and there. But it's also really good when it comes to varied strategy. And that's kind of it just hits all the marks with how it is. Because, like I said, I really wanted to design a series where all strategies were open and viable. I wanted a series where if you go softs at the beginning, you go mediums at the beginning, you could possibly pit into traffic. Because I feel like with a lot of league racing nowadays, traffic isn't really a consideration. Blue flags are, but very rarely do we see that even being a factor, especially with higher end leagues. But you rarely pit into traffic nowadays, and I kind of miss that because I feel like that's a serious part of racing that some leagues kind of just don't do, which isn't a fault to their own, right? There's only so much traffic when there's only 14 drivers on track. Yeah. But I wanted to make a series where that could be a consideration.
Yeah, that's
because I feel like
that's kind of cool. Because you're always just like you're not too far off usually after pitting and stuff like that, and because of the track and the whole everything that's comboed. So being able to have that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel, and that's why
strategy.
And the strategy was also on the same vein. I feel like a lot of leagues, they're very static with the strategy, right? Like I was saying, you start on the mediums, you go to the softs, if you have to throw on the hards, you do it for one lap, and then you call it a day. I didn't want that. I want drivers to literally look at each tire, consider the pros and cons, and try to make the best educated guess. And that's why I put random weather for all the tracks. Clouds and sun do make a difference in the tire wear.
Yeah.
Not a lot,
sure.
But they definitely do.
They do.
It does. Yep. And then the whole fact that like with adding rain, a possibility on certain tracks, because then it's like, you got the requirements of the tires to use, but okay, do you risk no rain or with rain? How do you start your strategy? All right, do I want to just be fast as fuck off the gate and hope it rains so I don't have to use the hards, or like it really does kind of change things up, like having that kind of mix in there too, because you might not have to use them if it rains to a point. So I might just be able to go hard out on the softs and no worries. Whereas somebody else is like, well, I'm not sure, does hards and loses out.
Yeah, because that's with static strategies, right? It's very much you're just really worried about whichever strategy gets, is the fastest race strategy, right? And that's not a bad thing. That's a lot with racing. But I wanted a league where it's less about whatever is the fastest and more about which you have to adapt to the changes around you, right? If I start on the softs, I have no idea who's starting, what tires everyone is starting around me. For all I know, the guy in front of me is starting on the hards, the guy behind me is on another set of softs, but the guy beside him is on the mediums. I have to determine that in the middle of the race. Yeah. And I want that.
I wish that they kind of did like Formula 1 and that, where you could see the tire color on the side. So you could be like, oh shit, okay, I can see he's on hards, okay. I got to make this pass because I'm on softs. I can't waste my tires behind them. Kind of being a little bit more like visually that way as in race to be able to see that, because you really have no idea. Whereas technically, if you had like in a real race, your engineers, your crew, and everything in your ears can be finding info and telling you everything. So they balance it out by giving us some indicators would be cool.
I wish they would do that. Red tires for soft. Excuse me.
Some sort of indicator.
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
This fits my schedule possibly. So
it does, Mike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's 6:00 for you.
And I'm gonna put this out. The Rebel Junior, one of the best cars in VR.
I love that car.
Dude, it is. I love that car.
I like that car. I really like that car.
That's why when you said it, I was like, ooh, that's going to be
It's very viable. Honestly, half the time when I was driving it, I was like, I don't have VR, but the cockpit view is so beautiful and it's just so nice to look and use. So
It's
Open
amazing.
open wheel cars or somewhat are always the best in VR.
Yeah, Red Bull. Yeah,
And that car
those
is
Red
great
Bulls are
for a
both
one
wicked.
make series. That's like a perfect
It
one
is.
make series car.
It's a fun car to drive.
Mm-hmm.
That
is.
car is fun to drive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
That's exciting.
yeah,
Fuck
the
yeah.
sign-up sheet should be out midway through June. It should be around the 12th, 13th, 14th. We'll try to announce it on all the servers that S7R is open to. Like I said, we're doing a promotion and demotion system, so even in the pre-qualifying round, let's say you get into third, that doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in Lobby 3. You could work your way up to Lobby 1.
Yeah.
Broadcast for Lobby 1 guaranteed. We're hoping to get Lobby 2 off the ground, but, obviously that requires a lot of staff. And yeah, it's going to be a 7-round series, 3 drop rounds. We get this done by next season for NRL, and I think it's going to be a fun time. Like I said, this was it was an internal series beforehand. All drivers from all different skill levels really enjoyed it because they were all fairly competitive depending on if they get the strategy right or if they adapt correctly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We're
Sounds
hoping
exciting.
it's going to be a good turnout.
Yeah.
I think I might have to sign up.
Right. I think you might have to. I might
think you
sign
should,
up
Mike.
for that too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very doable.
gonna
one.
have
I need
That's
to. I
the
need
problem
to.
with me. I want
I
to.
need
into
to see
it
the
for
schedule.
sure.
For me, my schedule is tough, so it's hard for me to get in any leagues. But I have like Saturday evenings and Sundays basically is all I have ever available.
Right.
So I miss out on some of the greatest stuff. So when I see here that something like
Dude,
this getting
This
together,
will
I'm
be
just like,
perfect for you, Mike.
ooh, I think I can squeeze this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to... So qualifying for each race will be also 5 minutes. It's going to be very much kind of a 1-2 shot qualifying. So with that and the hour-long race, we're hoping to be in and out of everything within an hour and a half.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's
what
nice.
it's funny. The one thing I like about it is that it's because it's a longer race too. So that
Yeah,
excites
same.
me.
I like the longers.
I love long ones. Yeah, it's all about long haul
Yeah,
strategy.
we know that about you. Yeah, how much you love the long ones.
Yeah. So right now in the background, we're just kind of tidying up the rulebook. It's basically completed. We're just making it look pretty and getting
Yeah.
all the pictures.
All the little
So yeah,
details.
Thank God you
Yeah.
have pictures because I can't read.
me and the staff, McNaughty, Nuke, a few other people. I can't remember their names. Sorry. We're going to be having a few meetings in the near future to just kind of smoothing everything out. And yeah, like I said, it's going. I really did kind of just try to make a series/league that is different from what other people are kind of expecting in your other series. So
Yeah.
hopefully the 7, like I said, it had really good reviews internally. I made a lot of improvements from the previous season rulebooks. I really kind of tweaked everything out. All driving styles are viable. You can go flat out and try to break away from the gap. You could also conserve and try to make your time up in the pit stops, right? Defending and attacking are both very valuable. It's very rare for you to be in a position where you don't want to defend, right? So yeah, I think it's going to be a great series personally. I know I'm saying that because I'm biased and I'm the one creating it, but
It sounds good.
I was very proud of what I did with the internal, and I think it's only going to be an improvement from there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see many seasons to come of that one. That's a good one-make series. I like that. All right. Shit, what else do we got, boys? Ooh, Fanatec news real quick. Did you guys see the Fanatec news? The podium pedals are going to be getting ready for pre-orders, and there is a price for those podium pedals. They're coming in at $699.99 US.
Wow.
So yeah, look badass. So those are coming. They got the new Formula wheel out. It's a little bit bigger, and the buttons are a little more stout. Looks like, and I'd say for the price point at $349, it's a really good deal. Plus, you get the metal QR2 on it instead of, because the Porsche wheel is in at the same price, $349. You get the QR2 Lite with that,
Things
which is crap.
and I mean it looks
Crap,
better than
hold on.
actually what it is. This new Formula wheels, it's a great deal for what you get with that wheel. That one's definitely, if you're looking at those two wheels, get the Formula wheel. You're way better off. And then I believe this coming week there's going to be an update for DD Plus and DD, getting a Newton meter bump, a little more power, and then release date for the upcoming update for the DD Pro, where we're getting full force on the DD Pro, so we're going to get that update, but there's no date of release for that yet. So stay tuned, because I will be downloading that. And hopefully this coming Christmas, if everything goes well with bonus cash, I'm going to get those pedals. I'm going to save for the pedals. This is my
bonus cash.
bonus.
You mean you're giving yourself a bonus for being a great worker?
Nope. This is actually bonuses for my customers. They hook me up with a little extra dough.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not coming out of my actually already salary, so it's a little extra on top. The nice people give
We'll
me.
work for pedals.
There are a few that do nothing. Oh yeah,
should get that shirt made.
right.
We'll
We'll work for podium pedals.
Wait, I heard DGDR has some merch that you graciously gave Tunes
Oh!
a few episodes back.
Uh-oh.
This
Oh
is
shit!
what's going to happen
I
now.
know.
God damn it.
You're gonna have to send me some details. I'll see what I can do.
Let's go.
When I get some
Hell
extra
yeah.
cash. About broke me, but yeah, I'll see what I can do for you, buddy. And
Hey,
gotta go for it.
real quick, Hovercraft, where can people find you? Discord, YouTube, anywhere, social media?
Yeah, well, I don't have any social media under kind of my Hovercraft name, but you can find us over at the Sector 7 Racing YouTube channel. On Discord, you can also contact me by my tag S7R HverCraft, as well as any of the racing servers that I'm involved in. So, NRL Discord, IRO Discord, MMR Discords, PDX Discord. Basically, any racing Discord you could probably find me on. If not, you can find one of my members and contact me through them.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, I think on that bombshell.
Woo, baby, we's out of here.
Another one in the books.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Numbers 170, I believe. So, yeah.
171, I thought.
Oh shit.
And I will say this: if you haven't watched the Formula One race, you need to watch the Formula One race.
That's what I'm gonna do right now.
Yeah, well, you go.
It was actually fairly good this time.
Let's go.
Oh, so it worked.
Excited.
Got a little bit better then, huh?
Yeah, it got better.
Awesome.
Definitely did.
I can't wait to
Ferrari
watch.
doing Ferrari things.
Oh god.
Yeah, Ferrari doing Ferrari things
Oh god.
for sure.
So I'm gonna be disappointed then.
Me too.
Damn it.
No. Oh, yeah.
Well, if they're doing Ferrari
I don't
things, that
think
means
you're
I'm gonna
gonna
be
be-
fucking disappointed.
I hope
it
I hope the
depends
fans
on
are
what your-
okay. I hope those
What
fans
your
not
standards are for
in the
Ferrari.
there.
So.
Fuck.
Anybody
Well,
has
they've
to
been
see
doing
that,
great this year, so the standards are pretty fucking high. So I'm gonna guess not too good. All right, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will check you guys next week Monday, and I already forgot who's. Oh no, I think
Chuck?
Bells is joining us.
Bells?
Yeah.
Bells
Okay.
I
going.
think Bells, if that still works out, Bells will be
Bells.
on the next episode. PHG Bells. So yeah, stay tuned for that episode, and we'll see you next Monday. Peace.
Yeah.
Take care.